Local tech giant Qualcomm fired back at Apple today in a fierce legal battle over patents. Union-Tribune business editor Diana McCabe joins us now live downtown with why Qualcomm wants to ban the import of certain new iPhone models. Diana, who does this affect? Which devices are we talking about here?
Well, it affects consumers, but not quite right away. The models that Qualcomm is looking to ban are the iPhone 7s, and there's specific iPhone 7s that have the Intel modem chip in them. So if you have an iPhone 7 that is carried on AT&T and T-Mobile network, those new phones coming in, if Qualcomm wins its way, those phones would be banned from the U.S. Now, here's the good news for consumers. The International Trade Commission takes 16 to 18 months to decide these types of cases, so nothing is going to happen right now.
So likely it'll be drawn out, which is interesting because the iPhone 7, while it is the latest model, the iPhone 8 is expected out later this year. Could this affect the iPhone 8 too?
It possibly could. Now, yeah, you're correct. That is going to launch in the fall. But again, because the case isn't going to be decided for 16 to 18 months, that iPhone 8 could still be coming into the U.S. But once the commission makes its decision, let's say that it sides with Qualcomm going down the road, those models would not be allowed in the U.S.
Okay, so if this story kind of sounds familiar, Diana, it's because it kind of is. Apple sued Qualcomm for $1 billion earlier this year. What's going on between these two companies in this back and forth?
Yeah, so today's action by Qualcomm, this is kind of the latest salvo in this increasingly hostile legal battle. If you remember, Apple actually sued Qualcomm at the beginning of the year. And Apple's contention is that the technology that Qualcomm is charging for, Apple just wants to pay a one-time licensing fee. They don't want to pay each time they use it in the device, and they contend that Qualcomm is unfairly charging them. But on the flip side, Qualcomm says your Apple iPhone, it would not be the phone that it is today without Qualcomm technology. It's not a one-time use. It provides all kinds of benefits to the functionality of the phone, and therefore they feel like every time that a chip is put in, a chip based on their technology, they should be compensated for it.
Right. So when people are trying to understand this, what is it exactly that they're accusing Apple of regarding these patents? I know part of it has to do with battery life, and part of it has to do with the processors, right?
Right, so it's specific to patents that were issued between 2013 and 2017, and you're correct, it has to do with battery life and functionality of the phone. And in this case, what Qualcomm contends is that Apple is using technology outside of the licensing agreement, and so therefore they need to pay for this technology. You know, they haven't gotten any kind of payments from Apple. Apple stopped making payments earlier this year, and Qualcomm kind of fired back with a lawsuit against some of the manufacturers, the third-party manufacturers who make these phones. So this is kind of another step. They're just ratcheting up the pressure on each other, and in this case, this is why they want Apple to pay, and this is one way they think they might be able to get payment.
Not the friendliest of partnerships right now. Diana, thanks for the insight. We appreciate it as a back and forth that continues. You can read more about all of today's top stories on SanDiegoUnionTribune.com.